Welcome to That Annuity Show, the podcast that will make you an expert in explaining annuities to your clients. Give us 30 minutes each week and we'll shave hours from your client presentations. Now, here's your host, Paul Tyler.
Welcome to another episode of That Annuity Show. Today we're sharing a great panel from a recent conference, Retiretech Las Vegas, with Michele Trogni on how technology and service platforms will reshape our industry. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to all of you. What a great event. We've just been able to connect with a lot of people in our industry in ways that you just can't do it unless you come to an event like this. So Michele, thank you for joining us today. And I will lead with probably, it's such an easy question.
That's good.
What are your predictions for the impact of technology on the life annuity and health business?
Great. Well, thanks so much for having me here, and it's great to be here talking to everybody this morning. I'm Michele, the CEO of Zinnia, and I actually have a technology background from banking and finance for the last 25 years, so I'm delighted to be here. So to answer your question, Paul, I think technology is impacting every part of the life and annuity industry right now. In particular, what I would say is it's bringing transparency to the marketplace. It's enabling more simplification, more standardization, and more productivity in the workplace for people. It's really starting that revolution that I think in other markets has been going for the last 20 years and is finally coming to the retirement sector, to life and annuities.
Yeah, and I'll skip ahead to the next question, but I think we want to come back a little bit to this. We've heard a lot about embedded distribution over the last 5 years, particularly in the P&C side.
Yeah.
What impact will it have in our sectors of the market?
So look, I think embedded distribution is massively important. Whether you're an agent or any type of advisor, you want to be able to service your clients out of one place. You don't want to have to go to 4 or 5 different venues to be able to understand the customer properly, being able to see the products that you're selling, get the education for your customers, or get the post-trade service that people want for those products that they buy. So I think what's really important is that we provide the technology that can enable all of the great products that are being produced for people to be embedded, directly in the right place in the life cycle of sales, right? And, I think whether you're a manufacturer who's building product, that is right for the sector that you're selling to, getting it embedded in the right place, I think just drives success in terms of sales and output.
We had a great panel yesterday with 4 insurance commissioners.
Yes, amazing.
And, Commissioner Mays from the state of Connecticut, great state of Connecticut. Go Yukon.
Go Yukon, exactly. Go Huskies. Woo!
Commissioner Mays is actually president of the NIAC, and I thought he made some interesting observations and put out a challenge to us to really deliver insurance to the underinsured marketplaces. Where does embedded insurance fit in that?
Well, look, I think everything that we're trying to do, whether, we're on the technology side, most of you are on the producer side for your clients, is get your clients the right products that fit their needs at the right time in the best way that you can possibly do that, so that they can enjoy fantastic service all the way through, the buying and the experience of the product itself. And I think embedded insurance really, or embedded distribution, enables you to do that, more readily than you've been able to do that in the past. I was super impressed with what, Commissioner Mays had to say yesterday. It's really great to see regulators embracing technology, AI, and encouraging people to come to the table with better solutions, with exactly that goal, which is putting more product in the hands of those that need it the most. He talked about closing the gap, and I think that's why we're all in this business, right? Is to make sure that people have the coverage that they need and deserve.
Yeah, well, now your company has gone through a lot of very interesting changes. We've watched some very interesting acquisitions. You just announced the close of eBix. How are you building and re-architecting your organization to support carriers who want to offer the service, and also agents who want to add additional services easier to their businesses or their agencies?
Sure. I mean, our strong belief is that if you simplify insurance and the ability to produce it, sell it, and then manage it through its life cycle, you'll be able to sell more, right? And so our mantra at Zinnia is to simplify insurance. And our goal over the next several years is to build the modern rails of the life and annuities insurance. So I like to think of us as sort of the MasterCard of the credit card industry, right? We don't want to compete with anybody trying to sell product. We just want to make it easier, and so that people can do it at the click of a finger, as opposed to having to take more time. And productivity is the name of the game, because the better the easier you can do something, the more you're likely to do it. I was talking to some folks at Morgan Stanley recently, and they were still saying that production of alts is 4 times production of annuities in their business, and they put it down to the friction in the marketplace today to be able to sell those products. It's not the products aren't good or that they can't sell the benefits of it, but they just can't distribute them in a way that makes it effective for the customer, so they're less productive.
And EBIX, I believe, expanded the reach of your company as well for carriers who maybe having the product service to your platform. Is that
totally? Yeah. So EBIX life and annuity products, they have things like WinFlex that probably people know in the audience. That's an illustration tool that illustrates all the products that the market is producing. They have a massive order entry platform called AnnuityNet. They have a vertical CRM platform called Smart Office, and then they have underwriting software that enables the underwriting for the carriers at the back end. Fits extremely well with what we did before, which is help insurance companies build product, issue new business, and then service that business, and a marketplace which also does distribution for direct-to-consumer or assisted direct-to-consumer. So, but with that acquisition, we really have a lot more in our toolkit now that we can offer to clients, whether that's holistically or components that people might want to buy. And we really believe in open insurance, right? So as an ex-CIO, I hated always having spent 20, 30 million or even $100 million on technology, but then somebody tell me I had to throw it all out and start again. And I think what we want to do is to augment what people have to help them make them more productive and faster to market.
We spent a lot of time talking about AI. I think almost every panel ended up with an AI discussion. I think that is one area where you can spend a lot of time, a lot of money building on these platforms, only to realize 6 months later the problem's been solved by a third-party company or something else. I guess if we sort of step back and say, but what are the fears, what are the hurdles that organizations have to overcome to really bring this into their organization? What are they?
I mean, look, I think when any new technology comes to market, I think it was the same with cloud, and it just becomes, I think, more difficult over time, because the pace at which technology is introduced is kind of increasing every time a new kind of set of technologies come to the table. But, for AI, I think it's a little bit of, there's a little bit of fear around what is happening to my data. Is AI going to make decisions? I don't think it makes decisions, right? I think it's a productivity revolution that we're going to see with AI. It enables us to really leverage the data that your organization produces, and enables you to make it easier for you to do your jobs, right? I think that's what I would say AI helps us do today. It is, more concerning for people who, don't really understand how it's going to work. But what I would encourage people to do is just to try, small iterations of things. Paul and I have been working on a number of things recently, and they introduced a new product at NASA, and he himself wrote some code over the weekend, right, to help explain from an education perspective the qualities of the product, and it was fantastic, right? I mean, if you can use things like that to educate your sales force and help make their jobs easier, fantastic.
Yeah, we had a great discussion with John Wilson, Larissa Burkett from UConn. John wrote a paper quite a while ago, which actually is very pertinent today, about the adoption of technologies and how I think companies think they have to be out on the leading edge where maybe even some of the older technologies still can or commercial technologies can actually get more of the benefit for less of the cost. How do you change behaviors of a company, of our industry, to really adopt the technologies? I still see a lot of our practices grounded in the old mainframe world when, mainframes are disappearing pretty quickly.
That's right, I hope so.
Yes.
They should be. They should be disappearing quicker than they are, frankly. I think when you're, when you're talking to consumers, buyers of technology or services, the hardest thing is to get people to talk about the outcome that they want as opposed to how they want it done. I find that when we're looking for outcomes, and somebody can say, I want to launch a product in 4 months. I want to have these features. I want to distribute it on these 5 platforms. And I want to be able to, self-serve changes to those policies on these 4 attributes. If somebody can tell me that, I can build it for them. If somebody tells me, here's my spec for my product, I want you to do processes in these 5 steps. I want you to do this on Tuesday and this on Wednesday and this at 4 o'clock in the morning and this at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's much harder to create a standardized product that you can take to market. And it's letting go a bit, right? When I was in financial services, we saw exactly the same kind of challenges. I would work with my teams and their subject matter expertise was phenomenal, but they were all steeped in doing things just a slightly different way. And for my taste, standardization helps you with productivity. It helps you to make sure that, no matter who sits down in the seat, they can still get the same outcome, right? Because things are more standardized. And, things like I was pretty surprised coming into the life and annuity world that there were less standards, for the data itself. Some of those things are really drastically changing now, and I think that will open up everybody's mindsets as to adopting technology more rapidly.
Well, and you mentioned data standards, but also new types of data can bring new insights. And when I say new types of data, I'm thinking of calls, for instance. And maybe you can talk a little bit about what your company has done with call center technology and what we're gleaning from the information you're providing.
So we have a call center, and anybody who has an annuity or a life policy that that we've manufactured essentially for an insurance carrier, if they have a question on it, they'll call into our call center. Now, nobody likes calling into a call center, I don't think. They would much prefer never to call a call center and be able to deal with everything, self-serve themselves, or never have to, because what they've got is what they needed in the first place. So we AI-enabled our call center last year, and what that really just means is we took the transcripts of the calls and we translated that into data. And we were able to marry that data with all the policies themselves and start to understand a lot of things about the calls that were coming in. So who was calling in? Why were they calling in? How many calls do we have for the same problem over and over again? What's the sentiment of the people that's calling in, right? Where are people getting a great service? Where are people getting a poor service? And now what we're able to do is to start implementing changes to our technology so they never have to call in the first place. And I think, create that type of example, it literally took us 3 or 4 months last summer to get that up and running. The productivity improvement is enormous. And I would think within the next year, we'll rewrite it all again with a new AI model, and it'll probably be better still. So it's that type of thing that we've been up to, and it's baby steps, but where we see this working tremendously is for the end consumer, right? And at the end of the day, that's who we really care about, right? Is to make sure that their journey with their insurance or their annuity product is a good one from the day they think about it until the day that somebody has to make a claim or they need to annuitize their product.
And I guess I'd be interested in your advice to leaders in the company, leaders at carriers, leaders in agencies and distributors. What do you need to learn today? You mentioned, we're catching up. On the other hand, it's a lot of people starting from zero with this new technology. Do you have advice in terms of the types of questions people should be asking?
I think just be clear about what you want the outcome to be, right?
Yeah.
That really helps to for anybody trying to be a partner or provide service to understand whether they can enable you or not. Like, I don't want to waste anybody's time. If our company can help you to, produce product more quickly, or distribute it through another channel, or get insights to make sure your product is hitting the mark with the customer segment that you're trying to deliver to, or that you're attracting the right customers. Those are the kind of questions that can help us say, okay, well, we have solutions here, or if we don't, here's other companies that do have those solutions that can also help you. I think it's just being curious and being open is the most important thing from my point of view, and not being afraid of the technology. Technology is the easiest part, honestly. It's understanding what risk appetite you've got, what products you want to build, and who you're serving. That's really the more complex part, and we're just here to try and make it easier to do business.
Yeah, and I guess a follow-up question would be, what are the questions I should ask? I think outcomes are terrific. Who should I be surrounding myself with today?
That's a good question. I try and surround myself with people who are not afraid of change, that are willing to challenge the way things are today, and that will really want to use data to drive their decisions. Like, there is so much data, and I still find it very interesting that people will say, no, but this is the way we've always done it, or this is the way, this person needs to do it. And that kind of is a blocker. We've been working a lot with Fidelity distribution, and, the CEO of Fidelity has a strategy which is 3 Ps: no printing, no paper, no postage, by the end of 2024. And
3 Ps.
And people have quoted that to us, and it's very simple, but it has changed the mantra at Fidelity, and it's changed the way that we as a technology company deliver to them, because they're really, really focused on digitizing the entire experience for their customer and for their agent. And I think it's being bold, surrounding yourself with people who are not afraid of change, and that are very data driven. I would also make sure you have good information security experts around you. For sure, some of the things to be worried about are the cyber risks, and fraud. And having people that have got experience in that, whether it's in insurance or not, is very helpful to making sure that you create a safe environment.
Yeah, well, Scott Hawkins from Connie gave us a really good presentation about the changing industry and also the new players. It's particularly annuity space, and how many new players are coming, and there are more coming. And
totally.
If we had anybody in the audience who's could have started an insurance company, there are a lot of challenges to breaking into the market, but you also think about have a chance to freshly think about, with whom do I partner? I don't think anybody coming to the industry would want to try to build a product platform. How should they go about selecting or thinking about the people they partner with?
Well, look, I think if you're starting a new insurance company now, you need to decide what differentiates you and what you're really great at, and what you just need somebody else who's really great at it to partner with you. And once you've got that in your head in terms of the rubric of what differentiates me but I can do and build really, really well, versus, what can enable me to be productive and, give great consumer service or whatever, then you can figure out who you want to partner with. That's the rubric I use when I'm thinking about whether I build or buy something myself. I know for new insurance companies, I personally think they're generally great at building product that serves customer needs, and they're great risk managers, right? And those are the things that they should focus on. And some of the infrastructure side of things, they should look for a partner who's doing it, hopefully more cost effectively than they can do it themselves.
and now, as you look forward as the leader of Zinnia, what do you want people to say about Zinnia? Why I partnered with Zinnia because of...
Thank you. Because they help make my business better, right? They help me do more business, to simplify insurance, enable those great experiences for customers, and they help me grow. At the end of the day, we're here to build to enable growth in the industry. We strongly believe that the products that people are selling are the right products for people from a life or an annuity perspective, and we think everybody should have a great retirement to look forward to. And if we can be the infrastructure behind that, awesome.
That's excellent.
I think that there historically was
back to the AI
perspective which was
captured
let me
many people's
get in, get out,
interest, especially
and sell as much product as I can.
The ability to scale,
and even though relationships were always a key part of it, now it's sort of
helping people do more of what they're
it's a little bit more
doing,
the world's expecting more of all of us,
the scale
and
opportunities. And I say AI, but I think a lot of
and being able to help them really not just get into something that's the right benefits, but actually the benefits are more.
I think you have to focus on
but like where, if you did a pie chart on where your customers have found you,
I'll tell you, we process new business for carriers.
How they found it.
And prior to 2023,
so of new
we had to
Medicare
touch
patients.
every single transaction that came through our pipeline, largely because every carrier that we work for had different operational rules about how we process things.
But it's fine.
And so even if
it feels fine,
is
it, it's not like on my cheek or anything like that?
No, it's not.
Really.
What I'm trying to avoid is the mic to hit your cheek.
Yeah, it's fine.
So we walk on this side?
We had rules that said you need
But these
to
are
stop
super
this,
sensitive,
look at
so
it, do
how do we walk
X,
on?
Y, Z, and then put it back in
Very
the
big.
queue.
Okay,
And,
great.
over the course
Super.
of 12 months, we've been able to have 60% of our transactions now go straight through without touch. So that means if the rate environment changes and you want to
as you were saying, mainly a new Medicare
we're
customer
not hiring and
switches primary care later in life. Is that common?
In order to make that happen. We can use technology to scale up and down and be more productive, and our people can focus on the things where they're really adding value, like as knowledge workers, as opposed to processing. Those are good examples of things, and that's got nothing to do with AI at all, right? That's just straightforward core technology that standardizes the way in which you process new business and then automates it.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, we want to thank you for the help launching our new product, NASA Income Accelerator, which is very different in the marketplace, similar but different.
Yeah.
And I think, I predict we'll see more of these type of products down the road, but I think the direction you're headed has certainly helped us as we scale our business.
Well, thank you. That's the goal.
I guess maybe return a little bit to the culture. What type of culture are you building, and how does that culture impact or is affected by or affect the culture of your partners?
Yeah, look, we're trying to create a very open culture of innovation, but where people value the customers that they're working for. And by that, I mean the consumer experience, making sure that, we're delivering the right outcomes for the consumers. So part of our business is a marketplace, and, they're not focused on getting the cheapest product to market. They're focused on getting the best product that fits needs to market for people. And I think that sort of, typifies what we're trying to do, which is, to make sure that, at Zinnia, customer is number one, right? Employees are really, really important, okay? We do all of what we do based on people. And if we create an environment where people feel that they're able to innovate, try things, and they're able to create those experiences, and they really can touch their clients, all the better. So we operate under 3 tenets: be bold, team up, and create value. And that's how we run our business every day.
Well, that's great. I think we actually have an example of some of the creativity you've unleashed with your team. We were hoping to do this live, but as you know, Wi-Fi connections in hotels, I don't think the team back there want us to jeopardize production. So we actually have a deep fake. This could be the first deep fake of an insurance CEO, correct, in the industry. Maybe a first happening here at Medicarians. Can you run the video?
Now we'll see what they've actually done.
Zinnia CEO Michele Trogni enthusiastically stressed the insurance industry's shift towards digital transformation, including AI, automated processing, and blockchain technology. She emphasized the rise of embedded insurance distribution models and the significant investment of companies in AI in the coming years. She also highlighted Zinnia's forward-thinking approach with AI-enabled solutions, partnerships, and a commitment to innovation and creativity.
Wow, that sounds just like me, although a little smarter, right?
So, Michele, thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Yeah,
Paul.
thank all
you
of you
guys
today.
for listening. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. If you've enjoyed the show, please rate and recommend us on iTunes, Stitcher, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get more information at thatannuityshow.com.